Welcome and karibuni to Aroma of Zanzibar. Today we're going to be making this wonderful spicy chicken peri peri. Now for my chicken peri peri, I'm using Fresno red chilies. That's what I have in hand. And I'm using some lime. You can use lemon. We've got smoked paprika here, about a tablespoon. We've got some salt, some olive oil, yellow onion, red bell pepper. Now, you could use red wine vinegar. That should be your priority. If you don't have that, you're going to be using apple cider vinegar. If you don't have that, you can use rice vinegar. If you don't have that, you can use distilled white vinegar. Now for the herbs, we've got some fresh thyme, or you could use basil, fresh basil, or dried. You could use oregano fresh or dried. Now you can use any of these, or if you know how to combine your flavors, you can use all of these. If you don't have any of that, you still can use bay leaf. So I'm going to start by roasting my vegetables. Now the peri peri chicken is actually a barbecue style chicken, but I am not going to be barbecuing. So if you're going to be barbecuing it, then you don't need to make this step. Okay, this is just for me to create those smoky flavors, into the chicken. But you could also use this step for your sauce, for your dipping sauce. All right, so these are nicely roasted, and I also like to roast the onions and the garlic, because they become very nice and sweet, and they really balance the flavors and the heat of the chilies. All right, and also just making some lime zest of the two limes. And now the thyme, you can remove the leaves like this, but I believe the stem has more flavors, so I'm just going to chop this up, because I'm going to be blending this, so it really doesn't matter. And we're going to put all that into the blender. Okay, my vegetables. And I'm using only few chilies for this. I'm not using all the chilies because I don't want the marinade to be too hot, because the kids will not be able to eat it. So I'm using red wine vinegar, which I believe is the best for this recipe. And I want to mention that red wine vinegar does not have alcohol. For those of you who are not familiar, who are not comfortable, because when you hear the word wine, you're going to come after me, Fatia, you're a Muslim, it's haram. No, red wine vinegar does not contain any alcohol. And that is a priority because it has that beautiful different taste. Then your next would be your apple cider. So we're just going to make this into a nice thick paste. And that's it. We're going to start marinating. Now, peri peri chicken has originated from Portugal. It's a Portuguese dish that was introduced in Africa, South Africa, Mozambique, Angola, I believe, Namibia. It's very famous over there. And they use African red bird eye chilies. So I don't have those, and for those of you who don't have, you can just pick any red chilies of your whatever you like, or you can combine whatever you like to create wonderful flavors. All right. So usually I like to marinate 24 hours if I could, or overnight, but today it's just 6 hours. It's always nice to create those flavors, and the longer you marinate, the longer you get those flavors penetrating through, and you get your chicken to be nice and tender and juicy. All right, so just cover it. Now I'm going to add the rest of the chilies to my paste and blend it again so that I can make the dipping sauce. Okay, so we're just going to heat that up on medium low. You can add more oil if you want, if you feel that. Then I just added more water to clean up those residues. And just slow cook this for about 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I added half of my lime zest. I did half into the other marinade and half over here. All right, so this is ready. If you want it thinner, you can add more liquid. I like it thick, and you can keep this keep it in the fridge and use it for a month or so. So I'm going to pair this with my sweet potato wedges. So after I've cut them into uneven shape, which is not supposed to be like that, and you just want to pat them dry. You really don't need to wash these, but I just wash them. I don't know why. And we're just gonna put them nicely and dry them, because I'm going to put this in the oven, and I don't want them to be soggy. So after that, we're going to season these. You can season them however you like, but I'm going to season them with about half a teaspoon of black pepper and half a teaspoon of paprika, and I've got half a teaspoon of cumin powder and some kosher salt. And if you don't want all that, you can just do salt and pepper. That would also be fine. Toast them nicely and add whatever oil that you want to do. All right. And just about a tablespoon and a half. And then we're just going to line this up in the tray that has aluminum foil. Has aluminum foil. And I've got my heat on 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And I just cooked them for about 15 minutes on one side, and then now we're going to flip them over and cook them another 15 minutes on the other side. Now I'm going to start smoking my chicken. I'm using instant charcoal. This is a Middle Eastern style instant charcoal. You can use any type of coal that you have. All right, and it's packed like this. It's like a nice candy, and they're usually sold in the Middle Eastern stores or Indian stores. All right, so I'm using only one of that, and I'm ready to smoke my chicken. And again, I want to mention, if you're going to barbecue this, you do not need to smoke the chicken. I'm only smoking the chicken to create those nice barbecue flavors. Okay, so my coal is already heated. This chicken is acting up. And you can use oil or butter or ghee or whatever. And then we're just going to cover it and let it smoke for about 25 to 30 minutes. Now we're ready to grill the chicken, and I've got my pan here with water as usual. I like my chicken to stay moist. Now I made this video, I cooked this dish about a month ago, but it was just close to Ramadan, so I didn't want to, share it during that month, because I know people do not eat stuff like this in Ramadan. But now I know towards the end of Ramadan, everybody's tired of cooking and you want to eat something light, so I decided to do it today. All right, so I am going to broil my chicken. Broiling means only the upper heat and not the lower heat. So I'm using low broil, not high, which does not have temperature for those who are not familiar. So I broil my chicken for about 8 minutes first. Then we're going to add some more marinade to make it more nice and flavorful, add extra flavors, and then broil it again for another 7 minutes, and then maybe 3 minutes on high. I like to do low to make it sure that it cooks, and then high to get that nice, golden color look. All right, so once it's cooked one side, I'm going to flip it on the other side and then continue cooking the same way. All right, so I'm ready to serve, and we serve this with, and we're just going to sprinkle some fresh oregano. We serve this with some sweet potatoes and some steamed corn and salad. So thank you so much. For more recipes, please visit me at Aroma of Zanzibar.